Well, stop making me laugh. Okay. When I was growing up, my grandmother used to make the most amazing garlic mayo. It was, I guess, aioli, and she would make it by hand. She was from France. And she would whisk it, and if anybody dared go into the same room where she was making it, she would just get super angry and throw it away and have to start over. So garlic mayo was something that is like taken very seriously in my family. And my mom used to make it after my parents got divorced. She started making garlic mayo at our house, but my mom would use a food processor. And so then, I've made it for years as well and played with the recipe. But once I stopped eating eggs, I needed to find another way to make it, because without eggs, the eggs are what help emulsify the mayo. And you can't, I've played with other things. I've tried adding tofu, I tried adding more Dijon, but it just never worked really well until I had the idea about adding something very untraditional. Well, actually, two ingredients are very untraditional into the mix, and they worked. And they helped emulsify it, and it just whips into this gorgeous mayo, and it stays thick, and it gets thicker in your fridge, and it'll last for a week. It's pretty cool. So I have been teasing this a little bit on social media and promised that I would share the recipe. So here we go. I'm going to show you how to make it. And I've been playing with some different oils in it. So I do prefer a lighter oil flavor-wise. So here you go. A sunflower oil is what I used today, and it totally worked. I've also used like a canola oil. Just any light flavor oil seems to work well. And you can put a little olive oil in it, but just a little bit, or else it's got a very strong flavor to it, which is delicious. It's just different. So it's sort of whatever you're after. But this mayo, as is so good. So let me show you how to make it. All right, so I'm gonna try and put you down so you can see as I make it, because there we go. Whoop. Sorry, can you see there? I don't know if you can see. All right, let's see this. I want you to see the jar, because we're gonna make it in a canning jar, and I'm using this size. Okay, so 2 canning jar sizes that you could use. The short one will work, but sometimes the mayo will splash out of it a little bit. So depending on what you're wearing, you might not want the splash back from that. So a taller canning jar works really well. And then stick blender. So this stick blender actually has a special little thing for it for making mayo. You can use the regular one. This is like a disc. It comes with the Bamix, so that's what I've really been enjoying using it for. Let's see if I can get this on. Oh, of course. Let's see, where's the little, there we go. Okay. So I'm using the disc, but it also comes with another little attachment that you could use that one instead. And I've also tried it with a different stick blender with just a regular blade, and that worked. So anyways, so here we go. So into our glass vessel here, we're going to add a couple of ingredients. So the first one is one of the unexpected ingredients, which is mashed potato. Yep, mashed potato. It's kind of crazy. It doesn't have anything extra in it. I did use dehydrated mashed potato flakes. You can get them, I think Bob's Red Mill and a couple other companies make them. If you're gluten-free, just make sure they're gluten-free, because some aren't. And then I just mixed it with water until it was the right consistency, and you got 3 tablespoons. But it would probably work with using just a baked potato that you mash up really well, or rice. I mean, no, not using rice, but a riced mashed potato when you use a ricer would probably work. But here, so we have that. Then we have aquafaba. So aquafaba, here, let me put that down. Aquafaba is the liquid from a can of garbanzo beans. And so that liquid acts very similar to egg whites, and is really cool. So that helps us sort of whip this emulsion, really important, in conjunction with the mashed potato. I think what happens is that the aquafaba, whips up, but it needs something to hold the oil, and that's where the potato seems to do its magic. So we're gonna go ahead and add our aquafaba in there. And don't worry about measurements. I have the recipe on my website, which is juliehassan.com. So I'll put a link below and you'll be able to just print it off. So we have our aquafaba in here. We have our mashed potato. We have our lemon juice right here. We have salt. There we go. And garlic, really important. But you know what? If you don't eat garlic, don't worry about it. You could totally leave that out. Oh, wait, I gotta put you down because I have to scrape the rest of the garlic out of the bowl, because in our family, we just can never have enough garlic, so we have to add more. Oh, and then Dijon mustard. So we have just a little bit of Dijon. Okay, so we have our basic ingredients right here. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna blend it with the stick blender until this is like really, really frothy, sort of like and not quite a meringue, but really, really frothy. And I'll show you. And then we have our oil in a separate cup. And when we're whipping it, we're gonna take our stick blender, and with one hand we're gonna use move the stick blender up and down, and then with the other we're gonna drizzle the oil in through the side of the jar, or on the side of the jar. And that is how you make the perfect mayo. So it takes two hands. So let's see if I can do this while filming and show you what it looks like. So I just want you to see inside the jar. So that's what the ingredients look like now. All right, can you see that? I want to make sure you can see everything I'm doing. So here we go. We're gonna make it frothy. So as you can see, it has risen up because of the froth. You can kind of see it's not like stiff, but it is very frothy. And I just want you to see inside. Can you see? I don't know if you can see, but there we go. Maybe it would help if I did sort of like a side view. Okay, frothy right there. Okay, then, oh, and I should also mention, don't try to make this without oil because it won't work. It needs the oil as part of this emulsification. Without the oil, it's not mayo, and it just won't work at all. So on the oil, we have between 3/4 and 1 cup of oil, because sometimes it'll take a little bit more or a little bit less, but right around 3/4 of the cup, 3/4 of a cup is usually the sweet spot. So here we go. I'm gonna blend it on high. Actually, I'm gonna do, my right arm is a little stronger. Okay, here we go. I want you to see, hopefully you can see, that it is starting to get thicker. It's not thick enough yet, but it is really getting lovely. And so now we don't have that much longer. We just slowly add the rest of our oil. And by slowly, I don't mean like painstakingly slow, but just a little drizzle on the side. Okay, it's not quite done yet, but you can see it's getting thicker, much thicker. So at this point, the trick is really to move this stick blender from the bottom to the top, to the bottom to the top, and you just keep doing that as you're adding the oil. And I'll show you how you know when you've added enough oil. Okay, so you can tell when you've added enough oil because well, first of all, it gets very thick. So look at how thick that is. Oh my gosh, it's so lovely. But also it will get thick, and then you'll feel the resistance when you're using the stick blender going up and down, that it, you know, is nice and thick. And then so you know that you're pretty close on the oil. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a look, because you can always add a little bit more, but once it gets thick and like really thick, then you know it's ready and it's done. So let me take a look real quick. Can you see that? All right. Let me taste it. And I totally forgot. You want to adjust the seasonings kind of to taste, I guess. So sometimes it needs just another like dash of salt. And I'm gonna add just a tiny dash, because I added like 1/4 teaspoon, but sometimes it needs just a little bit more. So I'm gonna put it down in there. Just a little sprinkle of some kosher salt. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Do you see how thick that is? That is our mayo. So let me set this down right here. And I wanna show you, oh. All right, let me pick this up. And oh, let me get a spoon so you can't quite taste it, but you can pretend that you're tasting it. So here's what it looks like in the jar. Can you see that? Like, that is super thick. I could probably add like just a tiny bit more oil to it if you want, but it's also, it's pretty good. And then you can keep this in the fridge for up to a week. And I find that it does get a little thicker sitting in the refrigerator. But, okay, so here's the magic. Oh my gosh, it's so good. So, what are the things that we like to put mayo on in my family? Because you can put it on a sandwich. I mean, that goes without saying. But it's best with steamed vegetables. So steamed like new potatoes, the small potatoes, asparagus or grilled asparagus, even steamed cauliflower. Delicious. This is so good on so many things. And you can use it as a dip. You can use it, you toss it on a salad as sort of, you know, part of like a creamy salad dressing. There's a lot you can do with it. And it's so good. Once you start doing this, you're never gonna want store-bought mayo again, because it's that good. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I think that's it, but thank you so much for joining me. The recipe, juliehassan.com, but we'll have a link below. And if you could please like and subscribe, we would really appreciate it. So lots more videos coming. Just can't wait to share all, you know, the things in our kitchen that we do. So thank you, and we'll see you soon.